We are following breaking news. The 17-year-old at the center of an Amber Alert is now in jail, accused of making the whole thing up.
And we're learning investigators are looking for more suspects in an ambush-style shooting that killed a 15-year-old girl.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 4 p.m.
It has been a series of twists and turns, and now the teen at the center of an Amber Alert scare is in jail.
News 6's Jana Manahalal joins us now live in the newsroom with what happened. Jana.
Yeah, so this all started late last month. And you may remember getting that Amber Alert at home to your phone from missing 17-year-old Caden Spate out of Marion County. Now, at the time, the teen texted his family that he had been shot. When deputies got there, they found his truck, but the teen was nowhere to be found. Now, deputies say they had to use a lot of resources to search for him and collect evidence where he was last seen. Crime scene technicians saw a bullet hole through the windshield of the truck, blood, Spate's damaged cell phone, drag marks in the dirt, and bicycle tracks leading away from his truck. Their investigation found the teen shot through the windshield, splattered a mixture of blood in the truck, and then destroyed his cell phone. He then left on a bike with camping supplies he bought at a Walmart just before texting his family. Detectives also learned Spate mentioned running away before they found ChatGPT searches on his laptop about collecting his blood without causing pain and Mexican cartels. Now, the next day, police found the teen at Winn-Dixie in Williston. Investigators say he continued to lie to them. They found out he shot himself in the leg and then shattered his femur. Now, deputies just shared this video that you're seeing here, and it shows the moments they brought the teen to the Department of Justice. And as you can see, he is still using those crutches from his gun injury. Now, Spate is facing several charges, including false evidence. Lisa, Ginger.
All right, Jana, thank you. The man accused of being a part of a deadly shooting that killed a 15-year-old girl will remain in jail. The 20-year-old faced a judge earlier today and received no bond. Deputies described the shooting as an ambush. It happened last week outside the Anchor Seafood and Chicken Restaurant on Clear Lake Road and Roseteen Street in Cocoa. News 6's Mark Lehman shares what he's learning from the investigation.
Sheriff Wayne Ivey said the actions of this suspect were horrific and is calling for a life sentence in this case. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office posting this video of 20-year-old John Eric Smith as he was walked into jail yesterday. Deputies say Smith was arrested during a traffic stop in Volusia County, and he's facing a charge of first-degree murder along with 2 counts of aggravated battery. All of this is from the October 6th shooting here outside the Anchor's restaurant near Cocoa. Investigators say several men got out of an SUV and opened fire. 15-year-old Kariah Duncan was killed. Her boyfriend and another friend were also injured in the attack. After the arrest, Sheriff Wayne Ivey posted a video message on Facebook where he said the push for justice isn't over.
It's horrific. Our community doesn't tolerate that, and I'm just glad this one's behind bars. I need the other one, Xavier Butler. Let's get him locked up as well.
As you heard there, that second suspect has been identified as 20-year-old Xavier Butler. A warrant has been issued for his arrest, also on a first-degree murder charge and 2 counts of aggravated battery. And as deputies are continuing their search for the second suspect, anyone with information that can help is urged to call the Sheriff's Office in Brevard County. Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thank you. Deputies also now tell us 2 more suspects are involved. The homicide unit is investigating their involvement in that shooting. Meantime, we are learning new details about a deadly overnight shooting that happened not far from where last week's shooting took place. This shooting happened in the parking lot at Oak Meadows Apartments right off Clear Lake Road. Police say 21-year-old Jairui Smith had a rifle when he went up to a 22-year-old man. The man then shot Smith, who later died at the hospital. Police believe the shooting may be justified under Florida's Stand Your Ground and self-defense laws. We're told the shooter is cooperating with investigators.
The man accused of being at the center of an hours-long hostage standoff at a motel refused to face a judge today. We told you about this as breaking news yesterday at 4 o'clock. It happened at the Heritage Park Inn on East Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway. That's in Kissimmee. It's near Gateway High School. Now, deputies say 49-year-old Mark Vasquez held his brother against his will overnight, tying him to a chair, beating him, and cutting him with a knife. After his brother escaped, deputies say Vasquez took a 74-year-old woman hostage and barricaded himself in a room for more than 5 hours. Finally, deputies say he surrendered and the woman was safe. Vasquez is now in the Osceola County Jail facing several charges. His public defender said he refused to appear in court today. The judge reset the hearing for tomorrow.
Well, which map will it be? That's the question before Orange County commissioners this afternoon as they take a highly anticipated vote on redistricting. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti has been inside the commission meeting this afternoon and joins us now live outside. So, Mike, what's the latest from there?
So, Lisa, we are about 2 hours into the afternoon session of the county commission meeting, and redistricting still has not been brought up. They're in the middle of a separate public hearing right now, so fortunately we're not missing anything of note. But just zooming out, today marks the culmination of a 7-month redistricting process, but really it goes back to November 2024. That is when Orange County voters approved a ballot measure to expand the number of county commission districts from 6 to 8. So at the center of this ongoing debate is the future of Winter Park, which is currently in District 5 and would remain in District 5 if map 7B is adopted. But Winter Park commissioners last month passed a resolution expressing their support for map 1A, which groups the city with other places like Maitland, Eatonville, College Park, and Pine Hills. The resolution makes the case that these places share similar, quote, issues and priorities. But there are people in Pine Hills, which is an unincorporated area of Orange County, who have thrown their support behind map 7B, arguing that adopting 1A would increase the potential for disenfranchisement because they feel that Winter Park's economic and demographic weight could overshadow priorities of other communities like Pine Hills. We also were looking at an editorial in the Orlando Sentinel from someone who's a community activist in Pine Hills. He made the argument that aside from the feeling that they would be disenfranchised, overshadowed by other communities like Winter Park, he also says that they really don't share anything in common with places like Winter Park. So again, we're going to go back inside this commission meeting. It's around 4 o'clock right now. We hope that they'll bring up this matter within the next 30 minutes, but I'm told by someone close to County Commission that they expect this to be a contentious topic of debate, and a lot of people signed up to talk about this. We're live outside the Orange County Administration Center. I'm Mike Valenti, your Orlando community correspondent, News 6.
Mike, thank you. President Trump is set to posthumously award right-wing activist Charlie Kirk America's highest civilian honor. He will present the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Kirk's family on what would have been his 32nd birthday. The ceremony was scheduled to begin at 4 p.m., but it does not look like it has started yet. Kirk was shot and killed last month while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. The House and Senate also approved resolutions making today a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Brevard County leaders are set to do the same in the next hour. During their 5 o'clock commission meeting, they will vote on a resolution to declare today as Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day.
Some changes could be coming to downtown Apopka. Leaders will decide whether they will grant a special exception for the construction of a new mosque. Your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, shares what to expect.
In Apopka's downtown area, you might notice something almost on every corner.
The 2 churches right here, there's a church right here. There's basically like 13 churches on this street.
The city's planning commission is set to discuss if they will give a special exception use permit to MCCA for the construction of a new mosque on Oakland Avenue. As of right now, the property is zoned as mixed use downtown and is home to a single building of MCCA, Muslim Community Center of Apopka. Erica Simmons lives beside the center and says she wouldn't mind the new mosque.
He and I have actually discussed what he was going to do with the property line to keep everyone comfortable. He's a very respectful and kind neighbor.
While many in the area on social media commented they disagreed with the mosque, including a man we spoke with who lived in the area but did not want to go on camera, one couple says they may disagree when it comes to religion, but not the building.
I don't believe in their God, I'll be honest. There's only one true God, Jesus Christ, but they have the right to believe in their own religion.
Down the street from Erica, another man says as long as the community is quiet, he is okay with it.
They never been a problem to me or nothing like that, so I guess it's okay.
All right, so the meeting to discuss the possibility of a mosque being built there is at 5:30. Recent hurricanes over the past few years have brought serious flooding to parts of Central Florida.
Coming up, one county is moving forward with a plan to prevent that from happening again. Plus, we'll show you how you can patch up holes in your walls yourself, saving money and getting results at home. That's next.
We're in a nice dry stretch, relatively speaking. Tomorrow we'll add rain chances, just a very slight chance. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but a nice, comfortable evening coming our way. Stick around for the forecast coming up at about 4:17.
You're watching News 6 at 4. We'll be right back as we take a live look at our camera in Daytona Beach. During the break, we are streaming live on Facebook. Search Lisa Bell News on Facebook right now.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
I know everybody's got a big hole or a little hole or a dent or a ding in their drywall, so we're going to show you how to fill it for less than 20 bucks.
Terry, Tim?
Yes, good morning.
We're here to get results.
Okay, come on in.
So the AC repairman left you with these holes. He fixed the AC, but you got holes in your ceiling now.
Yes, we do.
Why haven't you fixed it yourself?
Eric, I'm 85. Tim's 89. I don't think ladders are in our best interest.
I agree. We're going to see what we can do.
Here's what we picked up at Ace, some drywall texture, but the hole is so small, I don't think we're going to need it. Same thing with the drywall tape. This is what's going to do all the work. Joint compound, also known as spackling or mud, and then some sandpaper to make it all smooth.
Okay, so we cleaned up the corners of the holes, the edges of the holes, just to make sure that the drywall compound has something to attach to. Scooping out just the corner. All we're gonna do is fill the hole. What you could even do, use your finger. Think that the spatula is almost a little too wide, almost a little bit too big. So now we got the holes filled, which really isn't rocket science, and the idea is I spread out the joint compound to kind of blend in with the texture, so I don't think we even need to texturize it. We're just gonna let it dry. That was actually easier than we thought it was gonna be, and we didn't even need the texture because the hole was so small it blended right into the existing texture. We used quick drying joint compounds, so 15 minutes later, look, it's already dry. We don't need to paint it, but we're gonna do it anyway to make it look perfect. Terry and Tim were very wise to save their leftover ceiling paint. And that's it. All of this took us less than an hour, and remember, we put the entire project for you, start to finish, step by step, on clickorlando.com and the new 6 Plus app. Terry, Tim, well, how'd we do?
Great job.
Good. So
Never would have known there were 3 holes there.
we got results.
You got results, and thanks so much.
My pleasure. Glad to do it.
I wonder if there's a job he can't do. He hasn't found it yet.
Come over to my house and we'll find out.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
different story. Yeah, exactly. So if you would like to see that again or try it for yourself, Eric put step-by-step instructions on clickorlando.com. Just look under the Getting Results at Home section to find it all.
All right, we want to check in out with Jonathan Kegas. We're enjoying the nice fall. Can we call these fall-like temperatures?
Yeah, you know, fall temperatures for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we're officially in the season, so there's no like to go with it now. And we're certainly a couple notches below normal. Florida fall, though, I mean, we're not talking about 60s or anything like that, but then that would be more like Florida winter. We're at 80 degrees right now in Oviedo, 81 at the Cape. 82 in Melbourne, 84 degrees for us in Kissimmee, a little warmer on the 75 corridor this afternoon. Bushnell, good evening. We are at 85 degrees. Big picture again continues to have that front that brought us the refreshing changes continue to slide out to sea. You can stay up with the forecast by downloading the free News 6 weather app. The arrows or the white lines on your screen, that's the wind direction. Still mainly out of the north, although now there's a little more of that northeasterly component. So as we move into tomorrow, we're going to run the risk of a stray passing downpour. Tomorrow morning, we're back into the mid-60s. We're at 66 degrees in Sanford, 61 in Denellen, a touch warmer by a degree or two for us in Ocala. We're at 62 degrees when you start the day tomorrow. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Rain chances tomorrow, up a smidge. Most of us are dry. A quick hitting downpour is going to be possible, mainly southeast of I-4, right along the coast. These are going to be super quick hitting. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. We're at 83 in Groveland, Holopah. We're at 83 tomorrow afternoon as well as we keep the humidity away. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday that we would likely add a few more clouds in our sky on Wednesday, and we'd run the very slight chance. So here's 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think everybody's on the drier side. You see those extra clouds come in, and that's it. Just a quick little push as the wind direction shifts back off of the Atlantic. We're certainly not talking about anything like what we saw last week. These are going to be itty-bitty and just quickly moving by, with most of us being on the drier side. Still watching the beaches, of course. We don't want that breeze to click out of the northeast just yet anyway to help push things further inland. But here is a live look in Daytona Beach right now, and you see all the mess on the beach. What's left of it right now anyways. We are still dealing with not very much beach out there. We're at 80 degrees at the current temperature. The breeze out of the northeast at about 15 miles an hour at this hour, and that's going to continue to push things inland a little bit. Coastal flood issues, for the most part, have wound down as we watch the Atlantic settle down, relatively speaking. We're going to fast forward into Saturday. Big chunk of high pressure builds off the southeast corner of the United States, so that's going to bring back the easterly breeze. You'll notice we have the white there on the screen. That's the cloud cover. So the closer to the coast you are to start your weekend, I think we'll see a little more clouds, maybe running the risk of a stray shower to sneak on shore. But again, we don't want that breeze out of the east. Then as we push forward into the latter stages of the weekend, late Sunday into Monday, another cold front comes through. So now we are back into cold front season. We're going to be tracking these things a little more often now. Slight chance for a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder as this slides on through. This will kind of reinforce the drier air mass that we've been dealing with. weather that has been welcomed, I think, for a lot of Floridians. Tropical front, no new development expected over the next 7 days. That's Jerry. Yeah, he's looking kind of sad out there. He's not going to do anything remotely close to really anything. He's just going to do loop-de-loop out in the middle of the Atlantic. That is the wave in question that could get into the Caribbean as we move into the next 7 to 10 days. We're going to talk much more about that one coming up at about 4:47. So we'll go in depth with that tropical wave that's hanging closer to Africa. 83 degrees tomorrow. Again, slight chance for a passing downpour along the coast. Otherwise, we're staying very nice, just a touch warmer ahead of that next system on Sunday, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Now to a solution to flooding from hurricanes.
The plan one Central Florida county is moving forward with and how leaders say it will help. That's next. A live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Recent hurricanes have caused widespread flooding in Seminole County. Now county leaders have unanimously approved a new flood management plan to try to prevent it from happening again.
So the plan includes several recommendations, from strengthening zoning rules to buying out repeatedly damaged properties. Other ideas include more focus on preserving wetlands and opening up space to reduce runoff. The county is looking to get more money from FEMA to make some of these projects happen. Earlier this year, our team met with emergency manager Alan Harris at a property off Orange Boulevard. A family's home was bought out there and demolished after it had flooded over and over again.
We've had 4 100-year floods in the last 7 years, floods that aren't supposed to happen for 100 years. We've had 4 of them. We know that we're seeing more water. We know that we're seeing more issues with flooding.
Harris says better understanding the county's floodplain can lead to more mitigation projects like this, so neighborhoods are more resilient.
Well, there's a new push to get Sunrail running 7 days a week.
Coming up, the local city working to expand its hours and service, making it more accessible to people who need it.
This couple's dream home keeps flooding even though it's not in a flood zone. Hear their warning. Details next.
As we take a live look over Port Canaveral, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
In Marion County, a teen accused of faking an abduction, prompting an Amber Alert last month, has been arrested. Deputies say 17-year-old Caden Spate told family that he was abducted, but they later found out he made up a crime scene and shot himself in the leg. Spate faces multiple charges, including presenting false evidence and possession of a firearm by a minor.
The man accused of being a part of a deadly shooting that killed a 15-year-old girl near Cocoa will remain in jail. 20-year-old John Tarek Smith faced a judge earlier today and received no bond. Deputies describe the shooting as an ambush. They also say 2 more suspects are involved. The homicide unit is investigating them and their involvement in the shooting.
And the man accused of being at the center of an hours-long hostage standoff at an Osceola County motel refused to face a judge today. Deputies say 49-year-old Mark Vasquez held his brother against his will and later barricaded himself in a room with a 74-year-old woman. Vasquez is now in the Osceola County Jail facing several charges. The judge has reset the hearing for tomorrow. Central Florida's coast took a pounding last week, but now that the floodwaters have receded, there's a new problem, all that damage left behind.
News 6's Laverne McGee returned to Edgewater today to see how homeowners are recovering.
to take everything out.
Everything.
To get the floor from underneath the toilet.
The toilet, carpet, appliances, and so much of the day's belongings are in their driveway being hauled off to the dump, all water damaged. On Friday, this young couple's home flooded, and this is the third time since they bought it last March.
The water was up to here and flowing into the house.
Yeah, the water was like
Yes.
5-6 inches just flowing around.
The Edgewater house on Umbrella Tree Drive is not in a flood zone, but their home is on a lower elevation than the rest of the community. None of their neighbors are having such severe problems.
And whenever the canal fills up, all the water rushes in here, and then as the water is running off from down the street, it just keeps flowing into here because we're so low.
They say it was not disclosed to them that there had been previous flooding issues.
Can't sell it, no one wants to buy it, so we would have to go through a program like either FEMA, maybe Transform 386, and get the house lifted up.
They have flood insurance, but it does not pay for everything, and it will take thousands of dollars to try to lift the foundation or break down the house and rebuild.
You can never be too safe. I mean, we weren't even in a flood zone, and now we know that it's very helpful to have flood insurance just in case, especially in the state of Florida.
A charity is helping the family raise money to cover the costs. I put that information in this story on clickorlando.com. In Edgewater, Volusia County, Laverne McGee, News 6.
Well, new at 4, we just got 911 calls from the moments workers at a popular Disney Springs restaurant called about a robbery.
Yeah, this all happened about a month ago, but these newly released calls are revealing some shocking details about what happened that night at Paddlefish. News 6 anchor Matt Austin joins us now live. He's in the newsroom. Matt, this just had to be a terrifying day for those workers.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. These 911 calls are revealing that the suspect actually put trash bags over the employees and taped their hands together before grabbing everything in the restaurant safe. So let me take you back. It all happened about a month ago as workers were depositing cash into the safe around midnight. This photo of the suspect was captured right before workers say he used spray paint to black out the surveillance cameras. You can see he appears to be wearing a wetsuit. All his skin is covered, what appears to be maybe goggles. Workers called 911 after he left. They told dispatchers it appeared whoever this was knew where the cash was being counted.
Did he enter? Was it like in the back safe?
We have no idea. We were in the cash cage. I was telling the employee in the cash cage that I was going upstairs, and he shoved his way in. He spray painted our security camera.
Okay, did he steal anything from you guys?
He stole all of our money that we had in our safe. He pushed us to the ground and put trash bags over us and tied our taped our hands together.
So we got a tip when this happened that the suspect actually swam to the restaurant and then swam away with the money. That has not been confirmed yet, though again, he does appear to be wearing a wetsuit in that picture. The suspect has not been caught. None of the workers were hurt, but they could be heard in the 911 calls saying they were pretty shaken up, as you can imagine. Ginger, back to you.
Yeah, still a very bizarre story. Matt, thank you. Leaders with the Polk County Sheriff's Office are responding to a lawsuit from a woman who says she was sexually abused for years, but when she told deputies about the abuse, she was the one arrested. And charged, I should say. In the lawsuit, the woman says her adoptive father sexually abused her when she was 9 years old. This was in 2012. She came forward in July 2016 when she was 13. The lawsuit says the detective did not believe her and eventually charged her with lying during a felony investigation. She pleaded guilty at just 13 years old and was placed on probation. 4 months later, in July of 2017, she was again raped. This time, she was able to record what happened. She called 911 and her adoptive father was arrested. He is now 6 years into a 17-year sentence, and a judge threw out the woman's probation. Now, she's suing the sheriffs and the detectives involved for violating her 14th Amendment right to due process. We reached out to the Polk County Sheriff's Office about the lawsuit. In response, it said deputies did an extensive investigation and made decisions based on the information and evidence they had at the time. They plan to defend against the claims in court. They also said the deputies are still employed by the Sheriff's Office.
There is a new twist in the controversy surrounding a Palm Bay councilman. Earlier this month, the council sent a letter to the governor asking to suspend him over comments about people of Indian descent that he made. Now, leaders are voting to censure him. But as News 6's Mark Lehman reports, it could open the door for a lawsuit against the city.
Over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of heated discussion here at Palm Bay City Hall over those controversial comments. All of it resulted in a push to suspend Langevin, but with seemingly no action on that front, the City Council is now taking up a measure to censure him and strip away some of his power. His attorney, though, says that's a violation of his rights.
That comment, it hurts my soul.
2 weeks after deciding to ask the governor to suspend Chandler Langevin, Palm Bay's council is set to vote on a resolution to censure the councilman over his conduct.
The government cannot punish and limit your rights just purely based on your viewpoint.
Speaking to us from Lake County, Anthony Sabatini is representing Langevin and is threatening legal action against the city. He says the problem is with discipline attached to the censure. It calls to prevent Langevin from adding items to the agenda, providing council reports, and bars him from boards and committees.
All of those are unlawful because they are discriminatory towards his viewpoint.
The councilman came under fire last month for social media comments disparaging Indian immigrants. He stood by those words, but later issued a statement apologizing for his tone. While the council is now considering the censure resolution, Sabatini says if passed, it would violate Langevin's right to free speech.
They could pass the censure motion but not punish him. If they're trying to limit his ability to speak, then clearly that per se is illegal, and we'll file a First Amendment retaliation lawsuit.
Now, today I've been texting Mayor Rob Medina asking for his input into all of this. He tells me he plans to only speak after the discussion at the council meeting, which is set for Thursday at 6 p.m. In Palm Bay, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Another inmate is scheduled to be executed at the Florida State Prison tonight. It's a case from 1996 where 2 women were killed in Hillsborough County. Samuel Smithers will be the 14th execution in the state, which is a modern-day record. His attorney asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block his execution because he is 72 years old. Death penalty opponents say the death penalty is not the best option.
It may be a way of trying to project strength, but I think it projects just the opposite. I think it projects an inability to cope with the societal problems that contribute to violence.
2 more executions are scheduled over the next month, continuing a record pace. The previous modern-era record for executions in a year was 8 in 1984 and 2014.
Another Central Florida city is making Sunrail a high priority. The 61-mile commuter rail system runs from DeLand to Point Siena. There are 17 stations, including one in Kissimmee. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez spoke with people who use Sunrail to get around.
The City Commission identified some priorities to help them direct resources to where they're most needed. And this year, one of them is expanding the Sunrail service and hours.
From point A to point B quicker.
Carlos Alvarez rides the Sunrail almost daily. As a former Chicagoan, he knows how beneficial a train can be.
But one of the best ideas that they ever came out with.
He even prefers it to other modes of public transportation.
If I jump on the Lynx bus, which is 108 all the way down to Florida Mall, and then 107 towards downtown Orlando, is going to take me between about an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get there.
In Kissimmee's approved 2026 budget, the City Commission set the Sunrail service and hours expansion as a high priority. This includes defining the city's role, direction, actions, and funding, as well as goals and outcomes. While the city isn't sharing any specifics on this yet, Sunrail riders tell me they're happy to hear it's a priority for Kissimmee, and they'd like to see the service expanded to Saturdays and Sundays.
I think it will be a good idea for people to be able to go somewhere in downtown Orlando, during the weekends.
On the weekends that I'm off, I like to, go places, and if they got the Sunrail working on weekends, I'll be able to do so.
Starting next year, the Florida Department of Transportation will no longer run the Sunrail. Instead, that responsibility will go to the 4 counties it passes through and the city of Orlando. Seminole County just approved $11.5 million to pay for its portion of the Sunrail service, while Volusia County added $1.2 million to its budget to pay for the train. Once we have more information about Kissimmee's plans, we'll bring those to you. I'm your Kissimmee community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Taking a live look now over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope cam. A heads up, you may see some more traffic in that area tonight. It already looks like it's building in the off-ramp there. Singer Billie Eilish is set to perform at the Kia Center. This will be her first concert since a fan grabbed her while she was leaving the stage at her concert in South Florida. Have you seen this video? It happened Thursday night in Miami when Eilish walked by some fans who were lined up at the barricade. Someone then grabbed her arm, causing her to spin around and slam against that divider there. Security intervened immediately. The 9-time Grammy Award winner's concert in Orlando starts tonight at 7.
Orlando fans are better than that.
Absolutely. A group of childhood friends taking on some of Florida's biggest environmental challenges.
I mean, I really think of it as kind of like a mad science workshop.
How this startup transforms plastic bags into farm fertilizer. That's next.
Another very nice evening coming our way. Rain chances going up a smidge tomorrow. Maybe for one or two of us. We're going to break that part of the forecast down coming up in a few minutes.
And before we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Fertilizer runoff and plastic waste are two of Florida's biggest environmental challenges.
Yeah, but one local startup may have a solution for both. Paul Giorgio visited their Orlando warehouse where earthworms are doing all the work.
But I mean, I really think of it as kind of like a mad science workshop.
Inside this tiny Orlando warehouse,
So we're making Wiggle Brew Growth and Rescue here.
Sam Baker is working on big ideas.
You know, it's a mixture of chemistry and biology and manufacturing and plant science and biology again, but microbiology.
Baker and a group of childhood friends started Wiggle Brew, an all-natural organic fertilizer company.
Here are a whole bunch of the earthworms.
They feed food waste to
You
earthworms,
can see them wriggling around right there.
who turn it into soil and fertilizer.
Now we have a sustainable organic fertilizer that is as effective as some of the synthetic stuff. One of these bottles is more than enough to feed an entire garden.
Now, all this equipment might remind you of a home brewery system, and that's kind of where they got the name.
Because we're kind of brewing it almost like a beer or, somewhat like a coffee. And that's the liquid fertilizer that fills up those totes out there and gets shipped out.
But the team has their sights on an even bigger project.
So we start with material like these plastic bags or, cut up pieces of plastic bottle or other materials.
They've developed a process to replace the food waste with plastic. Yes, plastic.
There's a way to destroy plastic and turn it into organic fertilizer. And it relies on the same mechanism we use to make our fertilizer, which is worms.
They melt things like plastic bags and styrofoam in this steel chamber, breaking it down into an organic oil that the worms can eat.
If you put this out in the ground, it'll take 800 years or more for this to break down. It will last forever.
But Wiggle Brew speeds up the process.
It converts it from one big chemical into lots of small chemicals.
Baker says he knows his fertilizer makes greener plants. The hope is that the next version might even make a greener planet.
There's billions and billions of pounds of plastic floating around. It's in the ocean, it's in our bodies, it's in our food. Something's got to be done about it.
In Orlando, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
That is fascinating.
It hurts my heart to hear that it's 800 years for plastic to break down.
Yes, if only they can come up with something where people can do something like that at their home. I compost. I know you've composted in the past. I love that idea.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
With those equations and everything involved.
Jonathan, it's a beautiful day to plant things.
Yeah.
Just be I found excuses just to stay outside today.
No question. That breeze just feels amazing outside. It's certainly backed off from where it was over the weekend, but it still feels nice, and it's still delivering us with the refreshing air. Gorgeous shot here, Port Canaveral, Brevard County, with our Launch Credit Union camera this evening. You see the palm trees blowing in the wind a little bit. We have air temperatures now at the port in the lower 80s. The breeze at about 15 miles an hour this evening. We'll see that breeze shift to the more easterly component tomorrow, which will increase rain chances just a smidge. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can track anything that gets going tomorrow with the Free News 6 weather app. There's not going to be much. Most of this week ahead is on the dry side. So here we go, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Couple of things trying to get going well off of our coast. What we will notice tomorrow, I think, are going to be a few extra clouds bubbling back up. Slightly more moisture comes back into play because of that wind direction shift off of the Atlantic. There's 6 o'clock, and this is what I'm talking about. Couple of stray downpours trying to sneak in. They do not get that far inland because the air is so dry that it'll just gobble those downpours right up. So I think even what you saw there is a little overdone. But again, mainly right along the coast, just running the risk for a stray downpour to sneak in. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
And that's why there's that 10% shot for a passing downpour. That is mainly along the coast. We're looking good. We're looking dry through Wildwood, although we could use some rain for us along the I-75 corridor. Bushnell, we're at 85. Groveland, we're at 83. Mount Dora, good evening. We are at 83 degrees tomorrow afternoon, again, under a partly to mostly cloudy sky. All right, so every Tuesday, Climate Prediction Center highlights their long-range outlook in terms of tropical system formation here. And we were talking about this over the last couple of days. There's been some chatter towards the end of October. Well, today, we're hot off the press again. They highlighted the Caribbean. Of course, this is the area this time of the year, especially closer to Central America, where we are looking for kind of that last push. But this is for the dates of October 22nd to October 28th. And they do give a greater than 40% opportunity for tropical development and through parts of the Caribbean. That is because we have this tropical wave that we showed you yesterday just rolled off. It's riding low. There's a couple of things with this. When it rides low, of course, it has a better chance of going west. But when it rides low, it also has a pretty decent shot to run into that landmass that we call South America right there. I mean, it is that far off of Africa. So be careful with some of the modeling you look at, especially the GFS. It has a really, really nasty feedback loop that puts these phantom storms through. With that said, it does look like, again, we are getting ensemble support when you factor in a bunch of the different members of these models together. You see that little bullseye there for the opportunity for something during the last week of October. This is through October 25th, right on in through the central part of the Caribbean. Again, we're just watching. There are a lot of things that can happen with this. Again, one of them being running right into South America and that ending its development chances altogether. So just something to be mindful of. Again, this is so far out into the future. We're talking about 10 to 14 days away. 84 degrees on Thursday. We're looking very nice locally in the weather department. 83 on Friday. Lots of sunshine into the start of the weekend. I think a few extra clouds, a stray shower with another cold front coming through by Sunday into Monday. That'll keep temperatures into the mid-80s as we dry out early next work week, guys.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Jonathan. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. Now to a question for our traffic safety expert.
Someone wanted to know if they can use a motorized scooter in a bike lane. Trooper Steve has the answer next. As we take a live look at Mount Dora, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, fixing a dangerous problem in one local neighborhood.
Yeah, where homeowners say their sidewalks are causing them to get hurt, and who's going to be on the hook to cover the hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix it.
Plus, as always, your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
You know, I get this question more often than you think. Can a motorized scooter use the bicycle lane? Well, at first it sounds pretty simple, right? Well, the word bicycle is literally in the name, but sure enough, people will try to sneak those scooters anywhere that they fit. So here's the deal. Unless you're pedaling or riding an electric bicycle that's legally defined as one under Florida law, the bike lane is off limits. No scooters, no mopeds, and definitely no golf carts. Now, drivers, don't get too comfortable either. If you're turning right into a business or driveway, you still got to yield to anyone in that bicycle lane. You can't just cut them off because your blinker's on. Bottom line, bicycle lanes are for bicycles. It's not a shortcut, not a passing lane, and not a parking spot. Let's keep it simple and safe out there, 2 wheels at a time. If you got a traffic safety question you want me to answer it, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
Well, just as you get ready to eat dinner, we have an interesting event to tell you about.
Yeah, so in Tallahassee, thousands came together yesterday for a free meal and great conversation at the longest table. It's all thanks to 5 restaurants. The mayor says the event is about more than just food. He says it also allows neighbors and strangers to connect with each other.
But let's face it, things are a little tight and a little tough sometimes in society. So anytime we can break bread and come together face to face and talk about the silly things, talk about the serious things, but talk. That's what makes Tallahassee so special. We all get in our professional ruts, right? You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you do things, but we do the same thing. This brings us together with people that we might not see on a day-to-day basis, or we might not even know, and you might have a best friend coming out of this event, and it's really, really neat to see.
We all got to eat, right? I love that. City leaders say the last time they held this event was 2019. Organizers were eager to start up the tradition once again. That just looks like dinner at my house growing up. That was the
Right.
15 kids. Yeah, what a great idea.
I love that, yeah.
News 6 at 5 is next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
That's an excellent idea. Well, a Brevard County homeowner says he's been wronged and won't be taking down his man cave. Coming up, News 6's James Sparvero catches up with him in the first interview since this whole thing started 2 years ago.
Sir, I want you to listen up. You got an atrocious record.
A judge's warning as a man accused of attacking a woman on a trail is granted bond and released from jail. We're hearing from another woman who says she was grabbed by the same suspect, and we're digging into court records to find out what happened.
And later, potential fixes coming to a jam-packed road. What Lake County commissioners are saying about the possible project, years in the making. And your forecast is only minutes away. Could it look any better out there? I think not. Stream these newscasts and live cameras like this look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus.
Now at 5, a man accused in a trail attack that stunned a local community, granted bond and released from jail despite a warning from the judge.
Sir, I want you to listen up. You got an atrocious record.
Was this a mistake? We're reaching out to Orange County's top prosecutor. Plus,
do you remember the man who built a man cave out of shipping containers in his backyard? There's been an ongoing legal dispute between Joe Traska and Brevard County for 2 years now. And now Mr. Traska is finally ready to talk about it. He also takes me inside the man cave. I'll show you, coming up.
And we're digging into a contentious issue in downtown Apopka as community members are split as to whether the city should allow a mosque to be built. News 6 at 5 starts now. We start with breaking news. A judge has just ruled Central Florida Congressman Corey Mills' ex-girlfriend has reason to believe she is in imminent danger.
He just issued an injunction to keep him away from her. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is live in the newsroom with more on this. Mike?
I just got my hands on this injunction. In other words, a restraining order that's been issued against Central Florida Congressman Corey Mills. Now, Mills, who represents parts of Orange, Seminole, Volusia, and Flagler counties, was recently accused of cyber stalking his ex-girlfriend. Now, Mills has adamantly denied those allegations. During a court hearing last month, Mills says text messages that he sent to his ex were being misconstrued and that he was simply trying to, quote, unwind their relationship that was coming to an end. But that ex-girlfriend, Lindsay Langston, tells a much different story. Langston, who was the reigning Miss United States, claims she repeatedly told Mills to leave her alone. But she says the congressman repeatedly sent threatening text messages to her, including one threatening to release nude images of her. Well, today, the judge sided with Langston and issued an injunction against Congressman Mills. That injunction prohibits Mills from committing violence. It also forbids Mills from having contact with Langston. In addition, the judge told Mills he is not to make any references to his ex-girlfriend on social media. In his ruling, Columbia County Circuit Court Judge Fred Coberlin Jr. said, quote, the petitioner does have a reasonable cause to believe she is in imminent danger of becoming the victim of another act of dating violence without an injunction being entered. I have reached out to attorneys for both Mills and Langston. We have not yet heard comment from either side. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6.
Mike, thank you. Tonight, we are looking into why a man accused of attacking a woman on a trail this summer was released from jail after he was arrested this weekend.
Court records show he has an extensive criminal record, including another case in which a woman was attacked right there in the same area 3 years ago. Our Catherine Silver spoke with her today.
I started to feel a presence behind me and something rub against me. So as soon as I turned my head, I collide heads with Jacoby.
Nori Quinn says she was 18 years old when she was jogging home on Goldenrod Road and was grabbed from behind.
He's so much taller than me that his body weight is just like all on top of me. So I'm trying to move like this. I'm like, get off me. The only way I got him off me is because he let go. And then I'm like, what's wrong with you? You can get in trouble for that.
She learned this week Jacoby Tillman, the same man who was arrested after she was attacked in 2022, was arrested again after deputies say he attacked another woman and attempted to rape her while she was running on the Little Econ Greenway Trail in July.
I think he is a danger.
Prosecutors tell News 6 they agree, and at a hearing this weekend, they argued Tillman should stay in jail while he waits for trial.
I'm going to respectfully deny the state's request.
But Judge Elaine Barber granted Tillman a $9,500 bond, despite his history.
Sir, I want you to listen up.
Yes, ma'am.
You got an atrocious record. Right. These charges are violent in nature. If I get any inkling that you have violated the conditions of pretrial release, you will be arrested on a no bond warrant. You'll be put right back in jail and you will not get out. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
An arrest affidavit for Tillman says after this summer's attack, he said, quote, he didn't rape the lady, he was trying to kill her because he wanted to know what it was like to choke someone out. He's now facing charges of attempted sexual battery, battery by strangulation, and false imprisonment. How do you feel knowing that he's out of jail now?
Scared, uneasy. Like, I'm not only fearful for me and my family, but for others, especially vulnerable women, children.
Quinn says she never went to court to testify after she was attacked in 2022.
I just wanted to erase it from my head. It was very uncomfortable, being touched like that.
Tillman ended up pleading no contest to a misdemeanor charge and was ordered to pay court costs. We've also been looking into Tillman's records, which includes cases in both Orange and Volusia County. Court documents show that before Quinn was attacked in this area, Tillman was arrested that same year on an attempted murder charge. We reached out to the state attorney's office. They told us although they felt that he should not have been released after this most recent attack, ultimately it is the judge's decision. We'll keep following this case and asking more questions. We'll let you know what we find out. In Orange County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
In his first interview, the homeowner who was ordered by Brevard County to stop building a backyard man cave out of shipping containers says he has been wronged and he is not going to take the structure down. Your Indialantic community correspondent James Sparvero has navigated us through this messy legal battle since 2023. Now James joins us with the homeowner for a look at the man cave we have never seen before.
For the first time in 2 years, I'm with Joe Traska, the homeowner who built this. Joe, for 2 years, we've been calling it a man cave. You say it was supposed to be more like a pool house. That was the original plan?
Yeah, I wanted something off my pool to reuse recyclable materials and shipping containers, and it turned into a mess.
Yeah, a mess that's ongoing, apparently, right? You probably never could have imagined the situation you got yourself in, appearing at county commission meetings.
I want my peace and I want my freedom to do what is legally right in my backyard.
The back and forth, the county claiming you violated code.
County code unambiguously prohibits the stacking of shipping containers.
You're still sticking to your stance that you say you did everything correctly, right?
Yeah, it took a couple $1,000s to get a permit. And after I had them craned into place, everybody was upset about it.
Just disgusting thing.
And I'm not going to take it down at my expense. The Constitution will prevail.
Can you show us another angle while I'm back here? Give us a different look at it.
You want to go up top and take a look up top? We can go up there.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, Joe, as I expected, since you haven't been able to work on this in 2 years, it's pretty barren here.
Yep. It's going to look really nice when it's done, if it ever gets done.
And I guess bottom line, there's still no end in sight.
No, not that I know of. Yeah, I mean, until someone really looks at the situation and sees that as a property owner, I was wrong to ask permission, I got permission.
Joe's making an argument that the county code that reads you can't stack shipping containers applies to sheds, not his structure. Then when I asked the county for a comment about the battle in court, it told me it won't be settled for probably a couple more months. Whatever the final resolution may be to this story, we'll continue giving you the latest updates right here on News 6 and clickorlando.com. In Brevard County, I'm your Indialantic community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Tonight, a teen has been arrested after authorities say he faked his own abduction, sparking an Amber Alert. Now, this is video we got today of 17-year-old Caden Spate's arrest. You can see he is still on crutches after Marion County deputies say he shot himself in the leg. Last month, an Amber Alert went out for Spate. The teen texted his family he had been shot. But when deputies arrived, they found Spate's truck with a bullet hole through the windshield and blood, but no sign of Spate. Deputies say Spate set it all up. Investigators found him a day later at the Winn-Dixie in Williston, and investigators say he continued to lie. Spate is now facing a number of charges and is recovering from a shattered femur.
Well, we just got this new body cam of a man's arrest into our newsroom this afternoon. John Tarek Smith was taken in for the shooting death of 15-year-old Kariah Duncan. She was shot outside Anchor Seafood and Chicken Restaurant last week. Her boyfriend and another friend also injured in the attack. Investigators say Smith was stopped days later on I-4 on the way to a concert in a car going more than 100 miles an hour. He was taken to the Volusia County Jail. A second suspect has been identified, as deputies also now tell us they're looking for as many as 3 more suspects. One of them identified as 20-year-old Xavier Butler. Well, a contentious issue is playing out in downtown Apopka right now. The city is deciding whether it will allow a new mosque to be built on Oakland Avenue, but people living in Apopka are split on how they feel about the potential religious building. Your Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, fills us in.
The people that I spoke with, they tell me they have their own reason why they're either for or against the possible construction of this new mosque, which would be right behind me, and that would also be just over 6,000 square feet. In Apopka's downtown area, you might notice something almost on every corner.
The two churches right here, there's a church right here. There's basically like 13 churches on this street.
The city's planning commission is set to discuss if they will give a special exception use permit to MCCA for the construction of a new mosque on Oakland Avenue. As of right now, the property is zoned as mixed use downtown and is home to a single building of MCCA, Muslim Community Center of Apopka. Erica Simmons lives beside the center and says she wouldn't mind the new mosque.
He and I have actually discussed what he was going to do with the property line to keep everyone comfortable. He's a very respectful and kind neighbor.
While many in the area on social media commented they disagreed with the mosque, including a man we spoke with who lived in the area but did not want to go on camera, one couple says they may disagree when it comes to religion, but not the building.
And I don't believe in their God, I'll be honest. There's only one true God, Jesus Christ, but they have the right to believe in their own religion.
Down the street from Erica, another man says as long as the community is quiet, he is okay with it.
They never been a problem to me or nothing like that, so I guess it's okay.
And we did reach out to the Muslim Community Center of Apopka, and we're still waiting to hear back. As for the Planning Commission, they are meeting today at 5:30 to discuss this, and we'll keep you updated on more. Reporting, I'm your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
Well, a jam-packed road in Lake County where major development has happened.
Now, commissioners are trying to help ease traffic on the congested road.
Next at 5, what people living in the area are saying about the potential fixes that could be coming.
And later, it is probably something you do a few times a week. Log into Netflix or Hulu or really any streaming service to take a load off. But are Americans cutting back due to higher prices? We're taking a look coming up.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod. County commissioners are looking for ways to try to help people spend less time in their cars if they use Heartwood Marsh Road. It's a major road in Lake County that's seen a lot of development in the area, but with more development has come more traffic.
It's literally every week that I'm getting a comment or question about Heartwood Marsh Road.
Commissioner Sean Park says there's an easy solution to get construction started by summer 2026 on Heartwood Marsh Road and to move things along for improvements on 44B in the northern part of the county. Short-term loans.
I'm hoping that this is something that we'll see fit to move forward for both these projects. I know it's a big deal up in the north part of the county as well.
The Heartwood Marsh widening project from Highway 27 to Regency Hills Drive was originally designed in the 2000s. If the county doesn't move forward with the short-term loan, the earliest it could begin construction is 2027, when grant funding becomes available.
We need it now, not down the road. We can't kick the can any further.
The short-term loan Commissioner Parks is proposing for Heartwood Marsh would be $12 million. While commissioners recognize the need, Commissioner Kirby Smith says he didn't have an issue with the proposal, but wants to be able to look at all funding options.
If this was agendized, I'd have gone down there personally, driven that road several times, look at the other options. There may be other options out here other than, oh, let's just take out a loan.
Claremont resident Vincent Nemec was also at Tuesday's meeting. Even though commissioners didn't commit to the loan during the meeting, he still feels like it's a win.
I feel a lot more confident because I felt a lot of optimism from the commissioners today.
Now, the county will move forward on consulting with a financial advisor to look at their options for a loan if they decide to go that route. That will be discussed at a county commission meeting at a later date. Once we find that out, we'll be sure to let you know on clickorlando.com. I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
All right, let's get a check of that weather. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas taking a look at what has been an incredible run so far. Keep it coming, bartender.
And I think it will do just that, Matt, right on into the weekend for the most part. Anyway, there's our cold front again. It's still hanging well off towards our south and east. The wind direction is shifting a little bit. Now, this will introduce a slight opportunity. I'll show you how slight I'm talking about in just one second for a stray passing downpour tomorrow. 99% of us are going to be on the drier side, just running the risk of a stray downpour sneaking on shore. Otherwise, high pressure in play here. We have a ton of sunshine, a ton of clear skies for the rest of tonight. There we go, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, heading out this evening. Again, we are looking good. I don't think those downpours are going to be there tonight. They'll be several miles off of our coast in all likelihood. And then once we get into tomorrow, that's when I think a few might be able to sneak on shore. That's 3 o'clock in your afternoon. Most of us are dry. I do think you're going to notice extra clouds in the sky. We're shifting our wind direction out of the east off the Atlantic. So we are introducing a little bit more moisture back into the atmosphere. Some of those higher wispy clouds out there, a few extra puffy clouds closer to the coast. And then there we go. That's our rain chance for tomorrow. That's about it. Otherwise, we are on the drier side. That's 11 o'clock at night. I think we're looking pretty good. Live look in Daytona Beach. Things are still rough out there, and I think they're going to stay that way for the next couple of days as well. We will see gradual improvements, but they will be just that. They will be gradual, and it takes some time to get the Atlantic to settle down completely. Still hardly any beach left in Daytona after what has been a wild week to 10 days here with the higher than normal surf. We're back up to the upper 70s right now under a mainly sunny sky. The breeze out of the north-northeast at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. As we move into the next couple of days, we're going to keep pretty much the same stretch of weather rolling. We're at 66 tomorrow in Orlando. Oviedo, good evening. Tomorrow we're going to wake up into the 60s as well, 67 in Palm Coast. We're back to 68 degrees in Palm Bay. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
And rain chances at 10%. That 10% is just really right along the coast. There's likely going to be just 1 or 2 quick hitting downpours. We're at 83 in the Villages tomorrow, 83 in Kissimmee. We're dry through I-75 tomorrow. We could use the rain big time across I-75. We'll be hanging out into the middle 80s. Celebration in Point Siena tomorrow looking fantastic. We're starting things off into the 60s again by 10 o'clock. We're warming quickly into the mid 70s. We're at 78 degrees by lunchtime. We're at 81 by 2. We'll top out in the lower 80s again tomorrow afternoon. Stray downpour again near the coast. That's really about it in terms of rain chances until we get into the weekend. Otherwise, we're keeping the comfy mornings. Most of us waking up in the 60s, warm afternoons staying with us as well into the low to mid 80s. And then by the weekend, we're already tracking another cold front. So now we're getting into this season where these are going to start to become a little more common. High pressure keeping things in check right now. That slides back off to the south and east. Here we go looking at Saturday into Sunday. This is lunchtime on Sunday with a cold front on approach. out ahead of that front. We're going to warm things back up a little bit, and then we're going to take a bite out of whatever humidity returns Sunday by the time we get into early next work week. But look at this. Pretty dry over the next few days, low to mid 80s, lots of sunshine, 20% shot for those showers with that front on Sunday. Looking pretty good into next week as well, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, you know the deal. Most of us use these streaming sites every day.
But is it all too much?
Too many streaming choices and too many monthly charges have viewers saying enough. Welcome to the new age of streaming fatigue. I'm News 6 business reporter Donovan Myrie. I'll have that story coming up.
Your Tuesday evening traffic alert. We saw this last night. You're going to see it again. Champions Gate Boulevard shut down both directions. I'm talking underneath I-4, not I-4 specifically. Big detour here if you have to live or travel out here overnight from about 11 till about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So please make sure you're paying attention. Also lane closures east and west between the Turnpike and 528 on I-4. Then those southern lane closures over by Kissimmee Park Road if you're headed in the northbound direction on the Florida Turnpike. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
As we take a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope cam, you're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
After years of cutting the cord, Americans are now cutting back. Not on cable, but on streaming. Experts call it streaming fatigue. I'm News 6 reporter Donovan Myrie. It started just a few years ago as the golden age of choice. Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, and Max, all promising hours of quality entertainment, all for a low monthly cost. But now, too many platforms, too many choices, and too many monthly charges have viewers saying enough. Research firm Antenna says Americans now hold more than 339 million streaming subscriptions, up 10% from last year. But as that number climbs, so do cancellations, especially among Gen Z and lower-income households. 1 in 5 younger subscribers now hop from one service to another, sometimes weekly. Experts say 3 main factors are driving the burnout: cost, choice overload, and changing habits. First, cost. The average household spends about $83 a month on streaming, just below the breaking point of what most can say they can afford. Second, choice overload. Octane Seating found only 11% of Americans actually finish what they watch, and 2 in 5 admit they're watching shows they don't even like, just to keep up with friends. And third, changing habits. Nearly half of 18 to 39-year-olds now say they're replacing streaming time with social media. Streaming companies are, however, fighting back with cheaper ad-supported tiers, live events, and bundling. So if your watch list is starting to look like a to-do list, you're not alone. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
Controversial comments by a Palm Bay City Council member continued to draw the ire of his counterparts.
Now the other members are looking to do something about it. Coming up, how they want to stop him from adding items to the agenda and more after comments he made about Indian Americans. Plus,
one of these bottles is more than enough to feed an entire garden.
Using worms to turn food into soil, but that's not all. Coming up, the next steps toward the group's sustainability goals as we take a live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We are following several top stories for you right now. A man accused of attacking a woman at an Orange County trail this summer was released from jail after he was granted bond. Court records show Jacoby Tillman has an extensive criminal record, including another case in which a woman claims she was attacked in the same area 3 years ago. He's facing charges of attempted sexual battery, battery by strangulation, and false imprisonment.
A contentious issue is playing out in downtown Apopka right now. The city is deciding whether it will allow a new mosque to be built on Oakland Avenue. But people living in Apopka are split on how they feel about the proposal. A planning commission is happening right now to decide. We'll let you know what comes out of it.
A Brevard County homeowner says he was ordered to stop building his backyard man cave out of shipping containers, but he's pushing back. Joe Traska tells us he paid a couple $1,000s to get a permit to have a crane place those containers into place. The county argues its code prohibits the stacking of shipping containers, but Traska says that code only applies to sheds, not his structure.
There is a new twist in the controversy involving a Palm Bay councilman. Earlier this month, the council sent a letter to Governor DeSantis asking to suspend him over comments about people of Indian descent.
Now, leaders are voting to censure Chandler Langevin, but as News 6's Mark Lehman reports, it could open the door for a lawsuit against the city.
Over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of heated discussion here at Palm Bay City Hall over those controversial comments. All of it resulted in a push to suspend Langevin, but with seemingly no action on that front, the City Council is now taking up a measure to censure him and strip away some of his power. His attorney, though, says that's a violation of his rights.
That comment, it hurts my soul.
2 weeks after deciding to ask the governor to suspend Chandler Langevin, Palm Bay's council is set to vote on a resolution to censure the councilman over his conduct.
The government cannot punish and limit your rights just purely based on your viewpoint.
Speaking to us from Lake County, Anthony Sabatini is representing Langevin and is threatening legal action against the city. He says the problem is with discipline attached to the censure. It calls to prevent Langevin from adding items to the agenda, providing council reports, and bars him from boards and committees.
All of those are unlawful because they are discriminatory towards his viewpoint.
The councilman came under fire last month for social media comments disparaging Indian immigrants. He stood by those words, but later issued a statement apologizing for his tone. While the council is now considering the censure resolution, Sabatini says if passed, it would violate Langevin's right to free speech.
They could pass a censor motion but not punish him. If they're trying to limit his ability to speak, then clearly that per se is illegal, and we'll file a First Amendment retaliation lawsuit.
Now, today I've been texting Mayor Rob Medina asking for his input into all of this. He tells me he plans to only speak after the discussion at the council meeting, which is set for Thursday at 6 p.m. In Palm Bay, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Another Central Florida city is focusing on Sunrail. The 61-mile route from DeBary to Point Siena has 17 stations, including Kissimmee. And as our Kissimmee community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez shows us, the city listed Sunrail as a high priority in its new budget.
The City Commission identified some priorities to help them direct resources to where they're most needed. And this year, one of them is expanding the Sunrail service and hours.
From point A to point B quicker.
Carlos Alvarez rides the Sunrail almost daily. As a former Chicagoan, he knows how beneficial a train can be.
But one of the best ideas that they ever came out with.
He even prefers it to other modes of public transportation.
If I jump on the Lynx bus, which is 108 all the way down to Florida Mall, and then 107 towards downtown Orlando, is going to take me between about an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get there.
In Kissimmee's approved 2026 budget, the City Commission set the Sunrail service and hours expansion as a high priority. This includes defining the city's role, direction, actions, and funding, as well as goals and outcomes. While the city isn't sharing any specifics on this yet, Sunrail riders tell me they're happy to hear it's a priority for Kissimmee, and they'd like to see the service expanded to Saturdays and Sundays.
I think it will be a good idea for people to be able to go somewhere in downtown Orlando, during the weekends.
On the weekends that I'm off, I like to, go place, and if they got the Sunrail working on weekends, I'll be able to do so.
Starting next year, the Florida Department of Transportation will no longer run the Sunrail. Instead, that responsibility will go to the 4 counties it passes through and the city of Orlando.
Seminole County just approved $11.5 million to pay for its portion of the Sunrail service, while Volusia County added $1.2 million to its budget to pay for the train. Once we have more information about Kissimmee's plans, we'll bring those to you. I'm your Kissimmee community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Today marks 2 full weeks since the federal government shut down. In a social media post today, the White House said that it is preparing to, quote, ride out the Democrats by continuing to pay troops and law enforcement with more reduction in force notices. At a news conference, Democrats called on the Trump administration and the layoffs. They called them illegal. House Speaker Mike Johnson has warned this shutdown could be the longest in history as lawmakers remain deadlocked.
Firing and threatening to fire federal employees is part of the Trump administration's campaign to inflict trauma on our federal workforce.
My understanding of this is they have every right to move the funds around. If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it.
The Senate is planning another vote tonight on funding the government, but there are no signs of any progress to end the stalemate. As the government shutdown continues into week 3, another concern is rising across the U.S. and here in Florida. Trade tensions between the U.S. and China are heating up, and now new port fees are being put on each other's ships. That's according to U.S. and Chinese officials. Chinese analysts accuse the U.S. of starting this, but now President Trump is threatening a triple-digit tariff hike on Chinese imports by November 1st. It could all impact things like car prices, electronics, and semiconductors.
Well, President Trump is outlining his vision of the immediate steps to be taken in the ceasefire between Israel and Gaza. Hostages were released in both countries yesterday. The president says he's committed to his 20-point peace plan and says the next phase will focus on rebuilding Gaza.
Restoring the basics of a good life. We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building. It's not so much rebuilding, it's really building.
The World Bank and others estimate that price tag could surpass $50 billion. The plan calls for a demilitarized Gaza with regional and international partners helping to develop a security force to protect civilians. The plan also calls for a temporary political committee to govern Gaza. That would include Palestinians and international experts. The timeline for that committee remains unclear.
A new lawsuit could impact a popular streaming service in Florida.
We believe that Roku has taken, used, shared, and sold the personal sensitive data of our consumers, namely our kids.
That is Florida's Attorney General James Uthmeier. He says Roku has taken and sold the data in violation of the Florida Digital Bill of Rights. Uthmeier says big tech companies need to get parents' consent before using kids' data, and Roku has not done that. The Attorney General says they may have even given out kids' locations. Now, this is not the first company Uthmeier has gone after in the digital space. Back in April, he subpoenaed Roblox for info about how it markets to children. The Attorney General said there are concerns the platform is exposing kids to harmful content and bad actors.
Fertilizer runoff and plastic waste are two of Florida's biggest environmental challenges these days. But one local startup may have a solution for both of those. Community correspondent Paul Giorgio visited their Orlando warehouse where earthworms are doing all the work.
I mean, I really think of it as kind of like a mad science workshop.
Inside this tiny Orlando warehouse,
So we're making Wriggle Brew Growth and Rescue here.
Sam Baker is working on big ideas.
You know, it's a mixture of chemistry and biology and manufacturing and plant science and biology again, but microbiology.
Baker and a group of childhood friends started Wiggle Brew, an all-natural organic fertilizer company.
Here are a whole bunch of the earthworms.
They feed food waste to earthworms.
You can see them wriggling around right there.
Who turn it into soil and fertilizer.
Now we have a sustainable organic fertilizer that is as effective as some of the synthetic stuff. One of these bottles is more than enough to feed an entire garden.
Now all this equipment might remind you of a home brewery system, and that's kind of where they got the name.
Because we're kind of brewing it almost like a beer or, you know, somewhat like a coffee. And that's the liquid fertilizer that fills up those totes out there and gets shipped out.
But the team has their sights on an even bigger project.
So we start with material like these plastic bags or, you know, cut up pieces of plastic bottle or other materials.
They've developed a process to replace the food waste with plastic. Yes, plastic.
There's a way to destroy plastic and turn it into organic fertilizer. And it relies on the same mechanism we use to make our fertilizer, which is worms.
They melt things like plastic bags and styrofoam in this steel chamber, breaking it down into an organic oil that the worms can eat.
If you put this out in the ground, it'll take 800 years or more for this to break down. It will last forever.
But Wiggle Brew speeds up the process.
It converts it from one big chemical into lots of small chemicals.
Baker says he knows his fertilizer makes greener plants. The hope is that the next version might even make a greener planet.
There's billions and billions of pounds of plastic floating around. It's in the ocean, it's in our bodies, it's in our food. Something's got to be done about it.
In Orlando, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
It's fascinating.
What a great
Yes.
idea that is.
Yes.
Love that stuff. Well, have you ever seen those Google Maps cars driving around? They're constantly taking video of the streets.
It's hard to miss them if you see them on the road. Yeah. And one, just like it, is now going around in Central Florida, but it's not doing the exact same thing. It is doing something perhaps even better. Coming up, how that car is helping to plan ahead for natural disasters. Jonathan.
Lots of sunshine out there. Nice, comfortable evening if you're heading out. Temperatures right now into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Just a teeny tiny shot for a passing shower tomorrow. We'll track who is the best opportunity to see that coming up at about 5:47.
My favorite horse is Precious because every time I look at Precious, I see my dad in the eyes.
Oh, she's cute. A new take on therapy happening right here in Florida. Later, how it's helping people cope with tragedy. And try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9 o'clock. Go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. And then watch the late news an hour early. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus.
You can download our streaming app for free. Just search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
A vehicle with a 360-degree camera working to protect you. I'm News 6's Jana Manahalal, and this vehicle right here is working to do that, traveling across the state of Florida to prep for natural disasters.
You might have seen this car with cameras on top quietly rolling past your driveway. No, it's not a Google or Apple Maps car. It's a vehicle being used to establish a base of current conditions across the state of Florida before a natural disaster hits. Alan Harris, the director of Seminole County Emergency Management, says it's not just about disaster response, but planning smart for the future.
So this vehicle takes scans of the roadways, the bridges, all throughout the entire state of Florida. It helps us with damage assessment immediately after a disaster. So now we are going to have pre-disaster pictures as well as post-disaster pictures. We also, 2 years ago, did a similar project so we can actually see if roads have been damaged over time from just the elements or hurricanes as well.
Now, the project is funded through a partnership between Florida counties, including Seminole, and federal disaster recovery programs. It's not only collecting images for hurricane recovery, but also flagging infrastructure problems before they become emergencies. Officials say these records are vital when it comes time to show FEMA or insurers exactly what changed after a storm.
Immediately after the disaster, we can show now what was pre-disaster and what was post-disaster. So it's very clear to FEMA or our insurance agents or whatever, whoever we need to present this to, what it used to look like, what it is like now.
While the car sometimes drives by residential areas or maps homes that flood repeatedly, officials say it's not for surveillance. Harris says they notify 911 centers, city managers, and first responders, so neighbors know about the car's purpose: mapping flood risks, not invading privacy.
Harris also tells me that they're not only using this car for natural disaster preparation, but also everyday things like road mitigations to make sure the roads that you're driving on are safe to do so.
Those road mitigations, they're upgrades and repairs like elevating vulnerable roads, adding stormwater protections, or resurfacing streets to prepare for future hurricanes and everyday use.
It's amazing. It's good for government. It's good for the roadways. It's good for your traveling. We have a lot more traffic in Central Florida. This is going to help improve our roadways. It's going to help us mitigate. It's going to help us be prepared for future hurricanes.
The scanning project is expected to finish by mid-November. In Seminole County, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas with more on this glorious weather that we are dealing with right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great word for it. I think we're going to keep it for the better part of this week ahead. Here's a live look outside right now. Port Canaveral, Brevard County, beautifully blue skies. A few extra clouds today. I think we'll see a few extra clouds again tomorrow. That's a live look again with our Launch Credit Union camera. You can stay up to date with the forecast by downloading the free News 6 weather app. You can also upload your pictures. We've had some great ones over the past couple of days, especially last night with the SpaceX launches. Always great stuff. Love showcasing those pictures. 80 degrees under a mainly sunny sky right now. The breeze at about 15 miles an hour. Okay, so here's the deal with tomorrow. Most of us are going to be on the drier side, especially the further west you are of Orlando. I'm going to keep that theme going as we shift our wind back off of the Atlantic. It's not going to be a super gusty winds. We're not talking about a ton of moisture coming back through. There's 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think we're dry getting into work. And then you notice a few of those extra clouds start to build, especially closer to the Atlantic beaches. And then those will try to increase a little bit. That's 6 o'clock. That's what I have for you in terms of any kind of rain chance. I think later in the afternoon, and with that wind shift back off the Atlantic, we'll see a few stray downpours popping in, mainly south and east of I-4, and then closer to the I-95 corridor. Again, most of us are dry. I even think this is overdone. Again, the air is very, very dry. You can feel it when you step outside, but nonetheless, still that stray opportunity. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
Temperatures tomorrow back in the low to mid 80s. The theme again tomorrow. A few extra clouds in our sky with the thickest of the clouds, or at least the most clouds you'll see in the sky, going to be closer to the I-95 corridor and the Atlantic beaches. Again, rain chances only at 10% for that stray downpour or two that sneaks on shore because of that northeasterly breeze. Climate Prediction Center highlights the Caribbean. This is kind of the update. They have their long-range outlook that comes out every Tuesday, so I wanted to pass this along. We were talking about this wave. It's getting a lot of buzz on the internet, so we're talking about it. Again, greater than 40% shot the Climate Prediction Center gives for some kind of development in the Caribbean as we move towards the 22nd through the 28th. Now, this is primarily the spot that we would look for this time of the year for development anyway. However, there is a wave out there that slid off of Africa yesterday, and this is the one that's getting play. Be careful of the models, especially that long-range GFS run. If you look at the models, you know what I'm talking about. But there's the wave right here. It is very, very low. When they are low, they have a better shot to get into the Caribbean for one. However, this one is so low that if it doesn't start to gain latitude or go a little further north, it's going to run right into South America and end its development chances very quickly. Some of the ensembles, which is what you want to look at if you do like looking at that kind of stuff, it takes different initial conditions of the different members. This is the European ensemble. The brighter colors represent the higher probability for a tropical depression to form. That's what you want to look at if you like looking at that stuff, again, because it takes into account some of the uncertainty because of we don't have a ton of data right now because it's way out into the middle of the ocean. Moral of the story is there's more than 10 days to watch this, and there are still a ton of different outcomes, including nothing developing at all. 83 degrees is the current forecast for tomorrow. We're back in the low to mid 80s, getting through the end of the work week. Slight opportunity for a few more showers on Sunday because of another cold front slicing through, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, healing from tragedy is difficult.
But one South Florida group is using animals to help with the process.
It helps me show my emotions.
Hear from the people seeing a difference coming up.
And ahead at 6.
This couple's dream home keeps flooding even though it's not in a flood zone. Hear their warning. Details next.
Coming up in the morning, fixing a dangerous problem in one local neighborhood.
Yeah, where homeowners say their sidewalks are causing them to get hurt, and who's going to be on the hook to cover the hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix it.
Plus, as always, your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 6.
Working through grief is challenging, especially for kids and teens.
But one group has found a way to bring comfort with the help of some four-legged friends. CBS's Christian Benavides reports from South Florida.
When Teray Smith died last November, his 7-year-old daughter Sage struggled with traditional therapy as she grieved her father's untimely death.
When he passed, it was a shock for everyone. It's like no closure because he was there, then he was gone.
Michelle Doss, Smith's mother and Sage's grandmother, who she lives with, came across the nonprofit Tomorrow's Rainbow, where group therapy for children is coupled with equine-assisted therapy, allowing children to interact with horses.
My favorite horse is Precious because every time I look at Precious, I see my dad in the eyes.
This therapy in Coconut Creek, Florida, has helped Sage and her cousin, Denham Doss, who are both the same age and have grown up together, grieve Smith's passing.
It helps me show my emotions.
My husband was killed instantly, and my son and I were both hospitalized.
Abby Mosher started Tomorrow's Rainbow after coping with her own personal tragedy.
It brings a real holistic approach so that the children can take their own personal grief journey.
The nonprofit offers the therapy at no cost to the family, and all the animals on the farm are rescues.
It is funded almost entirely through donations, so families do not face any obstacles as they seek treatment for their kids.
Imagine the financial barrier that would be if we had to charge families for that. Remove the social isolation, give children the opportunity to bring out what's going on inside of them, all those thoughts and worries, and realize that they're not alone.
The therapy has brought Smith's family one step closer to healing.
They open up about their grief. They get to open it up. They get to speak about their grief. It's hard to get them up for school, but when I say, okay, therapy, 8 o'clock, they're up.
Finding a path forward despite the tough road ahead. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Coconut Creek, Florida.
Animals are the best. Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
Yeah, it is one of the most head-scratching crimes we've covered in quite some time. Who is this mysterious man who robbed a popular Disney Springs business? What a newly released 911 call is revealing about this shocking crime. And later, how would you feel waking up to this every single morning? 2 years after neighbors first started complaining about a shipping container man cave, it's still standing. And for the first time, we're going to take you inside this thing. We'll be right back.
Now at 6, the man police believe attacked a woman on a local trail released from jail. We're hearing from another woman who says he did the same thing to her years ago. Plus, a nearly year-long process to redraw district lines in Orange County coming to a head tonight and later. Neighbors call it an eyesore, but to one man, his shipping container man cave is perfect. We'll take you inside the controversial creation. News 6 at 6 starts now.
But we begin with breaking news. A restraining order has been issued against one of your representatives on Capitol Hill.
A judge granted an injunction against Congressman Corey Mills, who's accused of harassing a former girlfriend. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest was in the courtroom for a hearing between Mills and his ex last month. So, Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, Matt, I've got the dating violence injunction right here that's been issued against a sitting congressman. In deciding to issue this restraining order, the judge indicated that he believed the ex-girlfriend's version of events and does not believe Corey Mills. Mills, a Republican who represents parts of Orange, Seminole, Volusia, and Flagler counties, is accused of cyber-stalking his ex-girlfriend after they broke up last year. Now, Mills has adamantly denied her allegations. During this court hearing last month, Mills said that his ex-girlfriend was misconstruing text messages that he sent her and that he was simply trying to, quote, unwind their relationship that was coming to an end. But that ex-girlfriend, Lindsay Langston, tells a much different story. Langston, who is the reigning Miss United States and is also a GOP committee member, claims she repeatedly told Mills to leave her alone. But Langston says the congressman continued to send her frightening text messages, including one threatening to release nude images of her. Today, the judge sided with Langston and issued an injunction against Congressman Mills. That injunction prohibits Mills from committing violence. It also forbids Mills from having contact with Langston. In addition, the judge told Mills he is not allowed to make any references to his ex-girlfriend on social media. In his ruling, Columbia County Circuit Court Judge Fred Coberlin Jr. said, quote, the petitioner does have a reasonable cause to believe she's in imminent danger of becoming the victim of another act of dating violence without an injunction being entered. I have reached out to attorneys for both Mills and Langston. Neither side has commented yet about this injunction issued against the congressman. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6.
Mike, thank you. Tonight, we're looking into why a man accused of attacking a woman on a trail this summer was released from jail after he was arrested just last week.
Court records show he has an extensive criminal record, including another case where a woman was attacked in the same area 3 years ago. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silvers spoke with her today.
I started to feel a presence behind me and something rub against me. So as soon as I turned my head, I collide heads with Jacoby.
Nori Quinn says she was 18 years old when she was jogging home on Goldenrod Road and was grabbed from behind.
He's so much taller than me that his body weight is just like all on top of me. So I'm trying to move like this. I'm like, get off me. The only way I got him off me is because he let go. And then I'm like, what's wrong with you? You can get in trouble for that.
She learned this week Jacoby Tillman, the same man who was arrested after she was attacked in 2022, was arrested again after deputies say he attacked another woman and attempted to rape her while she was running on the Little Econ Greenway Trail in July.
I think he is a danger.
Prosecutors tell News 6 they agree, and at a hearing this weekend, they argued Tillman should stay in jail while he waits for trial.
I'm going to respectfully deny the state's request.
But Judge Elaine Barber granted Tillman a $9,500 bond, despite his history.
Sir, I want you to listen up.
Yes, ma'am.
You got an atrocious record.
Right.
These charges are violent in nature. If I get any inkling that you have violated the conditions of pretrial release, you will be arrested on a no bond warrant. You'll be put right back in jail and you will not get out. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
An arrest affidavit for Tillman says after this summer's attack, he said, quote, he didn't rape the lady, he was trying to kill her because he wanted to know what it was like to choke someone out. He's now facing charges of attempted sexual battery, battery by strangulation, and false imprisonment. How do you feel knowing that he's out of jail now?
Scared, uneasy. Like, I'm not only fearful for me and my family, but for others, especially vulnerable women, children.
Quinn says she never went to court to testify after she was attacked in 2022.
I just wanted to erase it from my head. It was very uncomfortable being touched like that.
Tillman ended up pleading no contest to a misdemeanor charge and was ordered to pay court costs. We've also been looking into Tillman's records, which includes cases in both Orange and Volusia County. Court documents show that before Quinn was attacked in this area, Tillman was arrested that same year on an attempted murder charge. We reached out to the state attorney's office. They told us although they felt that he should not have been released after this most recent attack, ultimately it is the judge's decision. We'll keep following this case and asking more questions. We'll let you know what we find out. In Orange County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
All right, taking a live look now over Daytona Beach tonight. Maybe a little too chilly to get in the water, but it is a beautiful night along the coast. A far change from last week, where just south of Daytona Beach in Edgewater, intense rain caused flooding in some parts of the community.
But tonight, a young couple desperately needs help after 3 separate floods destroyed their home and almost everything they own. News 6's Laverne McGee has their story and how you can help.
To take everything out.
Everything.
To get the floor from underneath the toilet.
The toilet, carpet, appliances, and so much of the day's belongings are in their driveway being hauled off to the dump, all water damaged. On Friday, this young couple's home flooded, and this is the 3rd time since they bought it last March.
The water was up to here and flowing into the house.
Yeah, the water was like
yes,
5-6 inches just flowing around.
The Edgewater house on Umbrella Tree Drive is not in a flood zone, but their home is on a lower elevation than the rest of the community. None of their neighbors are having such severe problems.
And whenever the canal fills up, all the water rushes in here, and then as the water is running off from down the street, it just keeps flowing into here because we're so low.
They say it was not disclosed to them that there had been previous flooding issues.
Can't sell it, no one wants to buy it, so we would have to go through a program like either FEMA, maybe Transform 386, and get the house lifted up.
They have flood insurance, but it does not pay for everything, and it will take thousands of dollars to try to lift the foundation or break down the house and rebuild.
You can never be too safe. I mean, we weren't even in a flood zone, and now we know that it's very helpful to have flood insurance just in case, especially in the state of Florida.
A charity is helping the family raise money to cover the costs. I put that information in this story on clickorlando.com. In Edgewater, Volusia County, Laverne McGee, News 6.
All right, and we know communities across Central Florida have been dealing with flooding in recent weeks, and not necessarily because of the rain.
That's right. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagis joins us. You're breaking down the data for us.
I think we had that combination, as you were alluding to, for sure, between some infrastructure issues and certainly the rain not helping. Remember, it's always good to have flood insurance. It does not matter if you're in a floodplain or flood zone or not. You can still always flood. There we go, though. 200% of normal. That's what we have seen over the past 30 days. A lot of that falling within the last couple of weeks, but it has been very, very wet on the coast, even higher than that, closer to Oak Hill and parts of Scottsmore, northern Brevard County as well. And of course, a lot of that falling just last week. Again, this says past 7 days, but this was that core of the heavy rainfall last week where we picked up anywhere from 2 to 4 inches just south of Edgewater, and in Edgewater itself, we picked up anywhere from 5 to 7 inches. And of course, with things running off more, when you get the heavy rain like what we saw, unfortunately, we're going to see those problems, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, the battle for redistricting in Orange County comes to a head today. For weeks, we've been covering the debate on how to redraw county lines, really in 2 areas. We have Pine Hills and we have Winter Park, this green area right here. One plan keeps them in the same district, when another would separate those 2. You can see Winter Park would be in the dark green right up there with more rural communities. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti shows us live from downtown Orlando tonight with the latest. What's going on here, Mike?
Hey, Matt, good evening. Yeah, we have been inside the Orange County Administration building since about 2 o'clock. That is when the afternoon session of the commission meeting started. But it was just within the last hour, around 5 or so, when they started to address the redistricting issue. So I just checked about a minute ago on the YouTube page. They're still in public comment. We actually have 68 speakers signed up to talk about that issue. So that's reflective of how important this is to people throughout the county, but especially in the districts that we're talking about. I'm going to show you, because sometimes this can be an issue that makes your head spin, so I figured it'd be a little more accessible if we printed out the maps. We're going to try to zoom in here. This is map 1A. It's one of 2 maps that commissioners are deciding between. Like you said, Matt, this map would keep Pine Hills and Winter Park together. You also have places like Eatonville and Maitland. You can see the light green right there. This is the version of the map that a lot of people in Winter Park, including commissioners, want, because they say that they share common issues and priorities with other places in that proposed district, like Eatonville, Pine Hills, and Maitland. But there are a lot of people in the unincorporated area of Pine Hills who want map 7B. This would separate Winter Park and Pine Hills. There are people in Pine Hills who have been critical of 1A, saying that 1A would actually bring up the potential of disenfranchisement. What they mean when they say that is that they view Winter Park as a place that could overshadow them with its demographic and socioeconomic weight. So they think when you have candidates running for office, there'll be people who have a much more, a bigger advantage coming from Winter Park than someone running from out of Pine Hills. So, of course, this is a very contentious issue at times. It'll be interesting to see what Kelly Martinez-Semrad votes. She's commissioner for District 5. That is where Winter Park is currently located. But Winter Park wants to be in they want map 1A together with Pine Hills. But there's a lot of strong feelings on both sides. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this. This probably won't wrap up for a while, but we'll bring you the latest online and on air as soon as we know it. We're live outside the Orange County Administration Building. Mike Valenti, News 6.
Interesting debate. All right, Mike, thank you. Still to come on News 6 at 6. How upset would you be if this is what you woke up to every morning? We're getting an update and taking you inside this controversial man cave.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
New details tonight in a robbery at a popular Disney Springs restaurant has us asking more questions now.
he came around the corner and saw us and rushed in. It was like he knew where it was.
So we got our hands on the 911 calls employees of Paddlefish Grill at Disney Springs placed minutes after the restaurant was robbed by a mysterious man you see there wearing a mask. 1 month ago, in the roughly 11 and a half minutes of audio, we learned the suspect seemed to know where the cash was being held on the 3rd floor of the restaurant and wasted no time when he saw the 2 employees inside.
He pushed us to the ground and put trash bags over us and taped our hands together.
The workers say after they were subdued, the man cleaned out the safe and ran out of the restaurant. The employees also told dispatchers they didn't have any surveillance video of what actually happened because the man spray painted over the cameras. They also said all he left was a liquid covering the floor. The lone photo of the suspect appears to show him right here wearing a wetsuit.
As far as I'm concerned, there is nothing to decide. Take it down and that's it.
Saturday will mark 2 years since we first took you to a man's unique man cave in Indialantic in a neighborhood there. That did him no favors with his neighbors, and tonight that shipping container structure is still standing strong.
It sure is. And last year, after initially saying it violated code, the county allowed him to keep the structure as long as he made modifications to it, much to the disagreement of the man's neighbors. Your Indialantic community correspondent James Barbero gets a look at the man cave to see if that work has been done and how neighbors feel about it.
For the first time in 2 years, I'm with Joe Traska, the homeowner who built this. Joe, for 2 years, we've been calling it a man cave. You say it was supposed to be more like a pool house. That was the original plan?
Yeah, I wanted something off my pool to reuse recyclable materials and shipping containers, and it turned into a mess.
Yeah, a mess that's ongoing apparently, right? You probably never could have imagined the situation you got yourself in, appearing at county commission meetings.
I want my peace and I want my freedom to do what is legally right in my backyard.
The back and forth, the county claiming you violated code.
County code unambiguously prohibits the stacking of shipping containers.
You're still sticking to your stance that you say you did everything correctly, right?
Yeah, it took a couple $1,000s to get a permit, and after I had them craned into place, everybody was upset about it.
Just disgusting thing.
And I'm not going to take it down at my expense. The Constitution will prevail.
Can you show us another angle while I'm back here? Give us a different look at it.
You want to go up top and take a look up top? We can go up there?
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, Joe, as I expected, since you haven't been able to work on this in 2 years, it's pretty barren here.
Yep. It's going to look really nice when it's done, if it ever gets done.
And I guess bottom line, there's still no end in sight.
No, not that I know of. Yeah, I mean, until someone really looks at the situation and sees that as a property owner, I was wrong to ask permission, I got permission.
Joe's making an argument that the county code that reads you can't stack shipping containers applies to sheds, not his structure. Then when I asked the county for a comment about the battle in court, it told me it won't be settled for probably a couple more months. Whatever the final resolution may be to this story, we'll continue giving you the latest updates right here on News 6 and ClickOrlando.com. In Brevard County, I'm your Indialantic community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Well, I'm glad we finally got his side of the story.
Persistence for James paid off, for sure.
He asked him many, many times. So good to see the inside of that thing. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joining us now. The weather has been fantastic, and it's going to keep on looking good.
I think so. End of forecast. We can go to the next story.
Right.
Yeah. We are going to be watching for the very slight opportunity. I mean, wait till you see the future radar here. A very slight opportunity for a passing downpour. Moving on shore tomorrow is just going to be right along the coast, and that's because we're shifting our wind direction again off of the Atlantic. Certainly nowhere near as aggressive as what we had last week. There is our front again from the weekend down closer to Bermuda and into the Bahamas. Continue the song there. There's a live fleck with a News 6 weather app. Again, you can download that for free, of course, to stay up with the forecast. High pressure building over the Carolinas. That is going to take these white lines. That's the wind direction out of the north and east and push in a little bit of extra moisture. I think you're going to notice a few extra clouds in the sky and then that very teeny tiny shot for a passing downpour closer to the coast. So there's 5 o'clock in the morning. I think everybody's going to be on the clear side driving into work tomorrow. Patchy fog, a possibility along the 75 corridor. Otherwise, again, should be smooth sailing into work. There's 11 o'clock. o'clock on your Wednesday morning, and this is what we're talking about here. That opportunity for a few passing downpours through the course of the afternoon. Notice most of us are going to be dry. Rain chances tomorrow only at 10% to count for that passing downpour right on shore. Again, that's 3 o'clock. You'll notice a few of those extra wispy clouds in the sky. And that's it right there. A few stray downpours coming through. These are going to be quick hitting, few and far between. It will not amount to much. Here's a live look outside. Gorgeous shot here at Daytona Beach. Still watching the very high tides out there. The coastal flood threat has subsided. Still not the safest to get into the beach. The ocean's still a little choppy. There's still the debris in the water as we continue to talk about. But it is gorgeous along the coast tonight. Air temperatures back to the upper 70s. The breeze right now out of the north-northeast at about 10 miles an hour. Another gorgeous start tomorrow if you like it on the cooler side. Mid-60s for us in Leesburg tomorrow. Good evening in Palm Coast. Bunnell, we're back to the upper 60s. We're at 69 in Titusville, 71 degrees in Melbourne. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
And there's that 10% shot for a stray downpour to sneak on shore. Again, otherwise, we're looking good again with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 82 in Oviedo. We're at 83 in Kissimmee. Holopah, good evening. We're back to 83 degrees tomorrow. Celebration into Point Siena. Again, I think we're far enough away from the coast where we are going to be on the dry side all day tomorrow. After a start in the mid-60s, we quickly warm things back up into the mid-70s by 10, 78 degrees by lunchtime. We're going to top out in the lower 80s again with a few of those extra clouds building through. Again, stray downpour possible tomorrow near the coast, but for the rest of the week, we're keeping the comfy mornings and then the comfortably warm afternoons. And then we'll turn our attention to the weekend where a new cold front already is looking like it's going to slide through central Florida. High pressure departs as out ahead of the next cold front on Sunday. We are going to warm things back up, so you'll notice the temperature go back up again a little bit towards the 7-day forecast, but then it'll come down a little bit again as our next front comes through. Certainly the heaviest rain, I think, with this front coming through, slides through to our north, but nonetheless, a few more scattered showers possible on Sunday. Temperatures staying in the low to mid 80s over the next couple of days, upper 80s. By Sunday, looking pretty good, guys.
It's been delightful. All right, thank you, Jonathan. Ryan's in for Jamie tonight.
Sounds like the Magic were pretty fired up today, huh?
The best practice in years, guys. That's what one player, that's how he described today's workout. That's what you want to hear, right? We'll have reaction plus why Johnny Dawkins is drawing from his NBA experience these days. Before we go to break, the preseason poll is out in the ACC. Luke Laux' Seminoles picked to finish 15th in the 18-team league. And Jay Lucas and Miami are picked to finish 8th. Welcome back to News 6. Sounds like things got a little feisty at Magic practice today, in a good way. That was the buzz coming out of the Advent Health practice facility following today's workout. There's Jalen Suggs, still recovering from knee surgery. Head coach Jamal Mosley said Suggs took some contact during 3-on-3 today and is waiting to see how he recovers before making a call on game availability. The Magic have one preseason tune-up left this Thursday before opening the regular season at home a week from tomorrow. But that's next week. Today, everyone was talking about practice.
It was a very competitive, very spirited practice. We talk about iron sharpening iron, and sometimes it gets hot, sometimes it gets tense, and that's exactly what was needed today in our practice. And it's probably one of the first time in many years that I've been here that it was at the level of competition, of competitive edge for a great group.
Today was a great practice, probably our best practice in a really long time.
Well, it sounds like practices at UCF have been going well. The roster for Coach Johnny Dawkins, almost completely new. But that's the deal in college athletics these days. It's rare to have guys stick around for years, so now relationships have to be built in months. Dawkins has some experience with that.
That's where I draw upon, my NBA experience, from the standpoint, your rosters turn over a lot, especially if you're on teams that aren't very successful. And so you may maintain your nucleus, 2 or 3 players that are your all-stars, but everyone else becomes fairly expendable, and they're looking to change that roster up every year.
It's homecoming week at UCF. The Knights will try and put 4 quarters together and earn their first Big 12 win against West Virginia. Scott Frost guys, plenty of chances the past 2 weeks. Critical penalties have doomed them. So what's the solution? Frost knows you can try and make practices have a more game-like feel, but to a certain point.
You have to do enough in practice to execute the plays you're putting in for the game on offense, to make sure that the guys know their scheme and know the adjustments depending on what we're going to get. If you try to run all those reps 100 miles an hour, you're going to kill your guys.
Well, I think they're going to get it done against the Mountaineers this Saturday. They need a win. I think they're going to find a way.
Yeah, West Virginia seems beatable. Yeah, right. I think so. More news coming up at 9 o'clock on ClickOrlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app.
Until then, have a great night. We'll see you at 9.